the why. And that's still, and I'm going to tell you why it's just so important today, and where it actually touches reality quite a bit. So if you haven't read Simon, I would. It's a quick read, and it really talks about how everybody in any kind of enterprise needs to know why they exist. And as leaders, that's really our role, is to define clearly, why we exist. Why are we here? Simon makes the point that people today buy the why, they don't buy the what you have, but, why are you here? And so, I think it's a takeaway for me always, and for all of us as leaders ought to be, can we actually define the why? And so many times we see mission statements, and, the mission statements try to touch all the constituents, the shareholder, the owner, the employees, the customers, blah, 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 and it gets pretty complicated, and it doesn't really drill down to why we're here. So, I think that's really important. And again, if you haven't read it, I would encourage you to read it. And it's a simple statement of why. I'll tell you what our why is at our company. It's a simple statement that says, we're here to provide financial expertise and tools to help our clients and communities grow and thrive. So we really focus on, that's why we're here, is really to uplift our communities by helping our clients. And so we try to focus on that all the time. And so here's where our very tangible examples come into play. We are going through a transition in my company. We've had a holding company with 8 different banks, 8 different charters, and all 8 of us kind of did our own thing, and that worked great in the heyday. And with regulatory pressures and interest rates being at 0, that just has not served us so well. So we made a decision back in June to consolidate our charters, run this place as one company, but with local identity and brands. But anytime you go through a significant change, if you have not touched on the why, and you can't clearly articulate the why, and everybody in your organization doesn't understand the why, change becomes excruciatingly difficult. And I would tell you we've been okay at this, pretty good, but it really has come home, because we're moving a lot of people's cheese around. There's a sense of loss of the local identity. So this is why the why plays so big here. And on top of just defining the why, you can never ever communicate enough. You think you have, and you haven't. But what we are going through, and where this is so impactful today, is we have tried to bring the why into every conversation. So there's a lot of things changing, right? And so we have to keep going back to why are we here? Why does what we're doing help improve the why we're here, why we exist? And why are we doing all of this? So it's not a focus on the what we're doing, but in our communication tools, it all ties back to the why. And then these tasks, or the functions, the things we need to do, how they're going to get us to the why. And again, I would tell you, as a company, we've done okay at that, but I can see where we've done better and it resonates with people and they get on board, and where we haven't done so well, it brings up a lot more questions. So that goes back to, that's why it's so critically important to be able to define the why, and clearly define it, and define it in a way as to, what your purpose is here, what your enterprise's purpose is, and where it fits. You can imagine in this larger company, when you go through this kinds of change, there's plenty of land grabbing trying to go on, and centralization, because, the headquarters always knows best. But because we've defined the why, and because we take every decision back to how it supports the why, I think it helps counter that and put us in a pretty good balance. So anyway, that's my leadership topic of the day, is just actually living this today, how it is so important, how it's very real, and how it's very tangible. It's not just something you do as an exercise just to say you did it and stamp the page, done, and move on.